everyone. It has been a long time coming. The idea for this channel has always been to talk to people, to have videos to help people not feel lonely and to help people cope with certain mental illnesses that they're going through. If you're going through a mental illness, let's just hit the subscribe button. But I wanted to basically talk about how to distract yourself from your mental illness. And I know that there's literally so many people my age, so many of my friends are going through mental illnesses because of school, because of family, because of just the clash of high school, and now they're in college and everything's different. So I just want to kind of get right into it, but I also want to remind everybody that this is not any type of I'm not a licensed professional. I am in school for psychology, and I hope to be a therapist one day, but I'm not a licensed professional, and I can't, all the advice that I'm giving you is just advice. It can't go anywhere. So I suggest that if you're feeling any type of way, you should really contact somebody and try to figure out ways that you can start seeing somebody regularly, because that really helps. And getting help, that is the first thing that I was very scared to do, that will get you on the track of being healthy. And when I say healthy, I mean being able to not always have something on your shoulder, always have a dark cloud around you. When I first started seeing my therapist, it was a very crazy experience. It was a very dark time in my life, obviously, but it was a very strange experience because it happened so quickly that I don't know if the universe really wanted me to see this exact person, because my therapist was on a book schedule. Their schedule was booked, and then I went in and spoke to one of my counselors at school, and she figured out how to she sent me a bunch of resources, and I chose the nearest hospital. And my therapist actually called me, and she was like, "Hi, can I speak to Regina?" And I was like, "Yeah, this is Regina." She was like, "Yeah, your counselor sent me some information over to you. I was just wondering if I could meet with you so that I can figure out which therapist is good for you." Because my therapist is actually also the person that you come see. She's the consultant therapist. And then I went in for a consultation, and she was like, "Okay, you're gonna get help. I am here for you. I am going to help you." And it was really crazy because it was she was like, "I just a patient just left. They moved out of state, and I have a spot for you. I can give you this spot, or I can give you to all the other 50 other 20, 30 therapists that work in this building, but I would love to work with you." And I was like, "Take me, you know what you're doing." Yes. I was so excited, and I love my therapist. I'm not gonna put her name out, but my therapist is so cool. I'm obsessed with her. That's my best friend. She recently got bumped up to be the LGBTQ director for all of the therapies, which is really cool, but also kind of sucks because she doesn't she has a very strict schedule. So if I can't meet her, she's all set. I don't know where I was going with this, but I just wanted to kind of show off that you walk into therapy and you're yo, you're "Yeah, I'm just depressed. I'm very sad. I don't know what to do." And then 3 weeks in, you're "Yo, let me tell," I will keep everything cooped up and not tell anybody and be "Yeah, I'm fine. I'm doing great. What are you talking about?" And then once I get on my therapist's couch, "Oh Lord, girl, let me tell you." And I just tell her everything, and she's just really understanding. The thing is that a lot of people are scared that their therapist or psychologist is gonna not understand them, but that's kind of sort of really easy to catch, but also kind of impossible, because your therapist is literally trained to understand you. They're literally trained to think deeper. Anything that you tell them, unless you're gonna hurt yourself or hurt somebody else, which they should report, anything that you tell them, they legally can't tell anybody. They cannot tell anybody. For them to be able to tell somebody, they would have to get a warrant from the court. And like, I think that there's so many resources that people don't know about. And so I'm going to try my best to like find a bunch of resources and compile them into the link below. But honestly, get you a therapist. I know I have I have so much energy right now, and people like don't believe that I'm depressed. And another thing that I suggest that you do is that you don't deny the feelings. So sometimes when you're not feeling well, you're like trying to push it away. You're like trying to block it out. But I think that like embracing it and taking that time to kind of rest and kind of like fight the battle that you have in your brain instead of like just like ignoring it is very important. I think that like there's not a lot that I can say about that, but I think that like if you don't feel good emotionally, it drains you to the point where you can't do tasks that are supposed to be easy. So I think that like sitting down and like kind of like talking to yourself and being like let's say like me, like my OCD comes in like kind of like I have to say things to people or it won't or like something bad is gonna happen. Like for example, when I used to take the bus a lot, I would have to say thank you to the bus driver. I have to. And I still like kind of have to. I haven't taken the bus because I recently got a car. Whoop whoop, I'm out here, which also comes with a bunch of like thoughts that I have to do or I'm gonna get into a car crash, which is just like not. It's just something else that I'm not gonna go into. Like I kind of like just talk to myself and I'm just like nothing bad will happen if you don't say goodbye and thank you. Nothing bad will happen if you don't say goodbye and thank you. And I think that like people take it for granted how much you can manifest like things in your brain. Your brain is already the one that's coming up with these terrible ideas or terrible thoughts or things that are making you feel bad, but you can also fight it. You can also always like sit down. And I'm not talking about like people think that like when you have depression you have to like block it, but like embracing it and figuring out how to fight it is important. Another thing to do is Jesus Christ, and I know that like I'm not even gonna tell you how many times that this thing has saved me, and it's one of the smallest things. I think that showering is something that will help. Sometimes when you're feeling not good, when you're feeling sick, when you're feeling weak, like you cannot get out of bed, you cannot stop thinking these negative thoughts, taking a shower, not even like a shower for like 30 minutes. When you affirm things in your body, like that shit's crazy. I can sit down and I can affirm that I'm going to do good today. I'm going to do well today. And I do. And I think that like when you communicate with yourself and you kind of like have a vision for how your day is going to be or what you're going to do, it's a lot easier for you to get it done. These have the seven stones to balance out my chakra, which is a whole another thing that like I will make a video about. And I'm very like spiritual. I'm very into like keeping myself balanced and alternative medicines. I also am not like on any medication right now. I should be. I really should be. Like this is one of like the 4 things that my therapist is giving me. And okay, so monks will sit down and they will say affirmations to themselves, and so I watched this video. I will try my best to find the video and link the video because it's 40 minutes, and if you are depressed, I know you're probably cooped up watching YouTube doing nothing with your life, because that's what I do when I'm super depressed. So each stone or each rock or each like pendant or whatever, they will say like an affirmation. So I am happy. This is what happy feels like. And it's just like, I think that like using these kind of like keeps you in check. So it's like you can circle back and sit down and think like, okay, it's affirmation time, and I'm going to do each stone and each rock as an affirmation. Instead of saying like, oh, I'm going to do affirmations, and you just keep doing it, you keep saying it, and it's just like kind of like when you're in class but you're paying attention but you're not. this one is kind of like, it can go two ways. So it says go for a walk or go out by yourself. And I think that like when you're depressed, you're in love with being by yourself. You love your time. You love being alone because you don't want people to see that side of you. So this one is very like, do this once in a while. I used to be a thrifter, and I had to give up thrifting because it was just really bad. It was very like, I was spending all my money on it, and it was just a single Sunday, which is the busiest day of the week at the supermarket. I go to the market and I just shop, and it's the most annoying thing ever, but I love it because I feel like I'm interacting with people, I'm talking to other people, but not to the point where I'm forced to. I'll say, excuse me, I'll like look at people, I'll be like, oh my god, that's a cute baby, oh my god, that is a cute couple, oh my god, they have organic strawberries, yes. And I think about when I have like OCD like thoughts, when I have like a lot of anxiety, when I'm feeling like super down and super depressed, I think about it like a friend. And I think about it like as a friend that, you know, for depression is like really sad and really down. For my anxiety and OCD, which kind of like, and my anxiety goes with my depression, but it usually goes with my OCD because I have a lot of like obsessive compulsive like thoughts. And I think about it more like a friend. So this person is just really nervous about being on the bus, and I'm going to use the bus situation again. This person is really nervous about being on the bus, and they just want to figure out how to keep everything safe. So they're going to keep telling you that you have to do this. You don't have to, but if you want to keep them calm, you can. I hope that makes sense. Like, if you think about your anxiety as like a friend, as like a person that's just like super nervous, it kind of like takes you out of your body and makes you understand why you would have like anxious thoughts about specific things. So let's say I'm anxious about school, and I'm like doing well in school, like I'm fine, but like I'm still anxious about school. So this kind of goes with like talking to yourself, like realizing that like you're anxious about school, talking to yourself or the person and explain to them that like everything's fine, you still have like some assignments that you have to do, but that's normal, that's how school is, and you're gonna be all right. And like thinking about it as a friend really helped me kind of like cope with it, because I would always question like, why am I anxious about these things that I'm not anxious about, like that I don't even want to care about. The last thing is I'm gonna show you guys a couple, is to read some books. And I know that like sounds like but when I read, I'm kind of like transported into another life. Reading and watching Netflix are cool, but like Netflix kind of like, I feel like I kind of watch Netflix and YouTube and like get really sad about my life, but I think that like reading, it's always like it's like a little bit clearer for me. And so I have a couple books that I read, a couple books. No, I read like a bunch of books. Like I go like a book every 2 weeks, and that's very slow for me. But like I only read when I go to sleep at like 30 minutes at night, because sometimes my brain is just so like crazy that I can't like go to sleep. Like I can't. Okay, so like for when I read books, I read books about like depression, and like mostly depression, because for a while I thought that I was only depressed, but I've read like so many books about depression, and it's helped me kind of like realize that like I'm not the only person that has depression. When I was younger, like I was diagnosed with depression when I was 12. Like I had no idea what that was. I just knew that I was feeling sad, and I was just like always sad, and I always felt like there was somebody or something like always bringing me down. There was a voice in my head that like didn't like me, and I didn't know what I did to it. But I think that like when I read those books, I kind of related to them. So the first book that I read when I was like literally 12 it's kind of a funny story by Ned Vizzini. Rest in peace. Ned Vizzini is an amazing author. Like I've read every single one of his books, and they're mainly about people with like I think there was a kid with schizophrenia and another kid with depression. Those books are great. Ned Vizzini is like, I just wish that I had like like, I get very, like, sad when I think about him because he committed suicide. But, like, I think that I related to all of his characters, and I'm just so grateful that I had kind of somebody to talk to. Like, I would read the books over and over again because they were the only ones that understood me. My mom didn't want me to go and see a therapist. She thought that wasn't okay. So I was just reading, and I was reading It's Kind of a Funny Story over and over again. I've probably read that book maybe 20 times, and it helped me so much. And even though, like, it just helped me so much, and I'm just so grateful, and I wish that I could talk to him and I could express how much he's helped me, even though, like, he didn't have anybody up there for him. But another book that I like is, I think it's called Catcher in the Rye. I don't know how to say it. I know what the book is. I don't know how to say it. My manager told me I said it wrong. But that was when I used to work retail, and I don't. Also, like, working retail is terrible. Like, if you're depressed, working retail is emotionally draining, and I know that that's all you can do. Like, for a lot of us, that's all we can do. But, like, if there's any way that you can stop working retail and stop emotionally, like, draining yourself every day, that will help you a lot. But anyways, yeah. I also really like the book Beautiful Girls by Alice. Let me get the book. Alice Adams. I've read this book probably like 5 times. I've lost the front page. Like, it's just a mess by now. And I'll read this book whenever I want to think about, like, when I just feel powerless. This book is basically has a bunch of short stories, and it's about, like, powerful women, and it's just cool. I don't read books that don't impact me. And I think that, like, there's specific authors that kind of impact me as a Black woman. And it's just like I don't know how to explain it. It's just they impact me and they empower me. And they put everything into perspective. And when you see other people, when you see other women being strong, even if it's in a book, it kind of motivates you to like, okay, tomorrow, because I usually read at night. It's like motivates me, okay, tomorrow, nobody's walking over me. Okay, so Toni Morrison, obviously. What? This one is the bluest. I'm going on my floor to get the book. Succulent Women. This is just how to manifest, like, your independence and just being an amazing woman that's carefree. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Hey. Okay. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope to put out more content as soon as possible, kind of on a rolling basis. I'm just very excited to, like, help people heal. Like, that's what I'm here for. I'm not here for none of that unless it's healing. I'm not, that's what I'm here for. And yeah, I'm very excited to go on this adventure, and I hope you guys subscribe and like this if you like it. Subscribe if you want to go on this journey with me. Okay, thank you. Is that gonna be my outro? My outro is gonna be that. Okay, my outro is gonna be like blessings.